What is that you say? You want to go vintage shopping? Ah, that's why we're friends. I'll get my purse. We're stopping for coffee, right? Our first stop is Junk Ranch, and my husband and daughter went with me, and we had a great time. It was a perfect day, and there are so many great vendors. At this first little building is the cutest sort of Western themed shop with lots of vintage and some new. Right next to them is traditionally Shara with Shara Monkey Box. You can follow her on Instagram. Just all kinds of great retro things. And this booth here had some great prices. And I was so focused on looking at that bird cage, I didn't even look at those chairs closely enough. I just noticed them when I was looking at the video. That's what happens when I'm filming. I don't catch everything. A lot of great vintage to be found in here. Fun home decor pieces. They have some clothing and accessory type things here too, which are always fun to look for. Sort of boutique style stuff and vintage pieces. Always fun to add to your wardrobe. Some mid-century style things. Very unusual wicker set, looks very mid-century. And you're gonna find all kinds of a range here at Junk Ranch. Some things are kind of pricey, some things are very affordable, but overall, it's very good pricing. And we came just before lunch, so it wasn't long before we were getting hungry and decided to check out the food vendors. There was some live entertainment around the food trucks. And I ended up getting the pulled pork nachos, which were very good. Back to shopping. Now that everybody is full and happy. Just so many different varieties. There are some enclosures on the property. That one building that I showed you, and then like a little barn. And then there are tents that are set up. A lot of vintage Christmas, which I'm really leaning towards this year. And here's my daughter. She tried on a Jaja hat, vintage, which I thought she could totally pull off. I thought it was so cute. But here's an example of how some people are set up, and it's set in Prairie Grove, Arkansas, and in the background are just hills and countryside. It's just a beautiful setting. And there are vendors from different states out of the area. So many good pickers, great curators. Anything that you might collect, you could probably find something to add to your collection. This booth had some great brass pieces like I had never seen, these plug-in teapots. So I kind of lingered there a minute. And I thought her prices were quite reasonable. I think most of the teapots came with the plug-in, the cords. I don't know if that's something you could use. or if it would be too old to actually use it. This coffee dispenser said it came with all of the cords and everything, but I was thinking more for a plant or some type of display, but it is a beautiful piece. There was an unusual copper teapot. Almost looked like an old telephone or something. A great sewing basket, multi-layered vintage sewing basket. Lots of different scales in different price ranges. And different vintage packaging, cans, tins, and vintage Christmas. And there's always a lot of great furniture with painted pieces that have great patina. Vintage kitchen, of course. And this was a booth that I really liked. I think they were from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. So that explains a lot. But I just loved sort of that Western tinge of everything. I loved some of their artwork. And just the rustic nature of things. The black and white, of course, is a favorite for me. And this picture I really wanted to take home. Couldn't think of where I would put it, but I loved it. And they had a trailer that was set up like a little pop-up shop that you could walk through. That was really fun. And I thought that was a neat idea. You could just set up anywhere. Great vintage Christmas pieces. Could really make an impact with some of these, depending on how much Christmas you do. I thought these chairs were so interesting with the carving. Not really the style of my home, but definitely something unique. Great mid-century pieces. Not sure what you would use the branding irons for, but I guess if you had a cabin or a lodgy theme going. These are all great patinaed pieces. The leather bowling bag would be a great little overnight bag. The green, of course, caught my eye. Some gorgeous green lights. Carved wooden statues. There's just so much variety. And look at the paint on this piece. Hey there, it's Tanya. I'm just jumping in to say that if you love home and garden as much as I do, then be sure and hit that subscribe and like this video. Also, I have a blog at FreeRangeCottage.com, and I'm going to leave a link below to the email opt-in so you can pop over there and opt in so that you don't miss a thing over there either. And now, back to vintage shopping. Lots of fantastic rustic pieces. There's a lot of mid-century here. So I feel like it hasn't gone down in popularity at all. Next, I stopped at Curated Goods Pop-Up Market. It was actually the following weekend, so this is over a couple of weekends. Curated Goods, you can follow them on Instagram. I think there were 7 vendors this time. These are some great curated pickings, let me tell you. This was Ruby from Mira Home. I did her shop not too long ago on the channel, and she always has great stuff, good stuff. Look at that couch or love seat, beautiful. Fantastic. If you go follow them on Instagram, you can find the different vendors to follow and see all their picking adventures as well. There were some gorgeous blue and white platters that were very tempting to me on here, but I have a couple. Probably don't need more. Beautiful amber candlesticks there too. That was another tempting thing for me. Cute vintage Christmas pieces here. I'm pretty pared down at Christmas anymore, but I'm loving these vintage displays. Of course, the brass always grabs me. So pretty, mixed with the animal print, such a rich look. Cute little deer, and of course pottery is one of my favorites. We so much enjoyed Junk Ranch. It was a beautiful day, and the pop-up sale downtown was fantastic, and lots of ideas, and just a fun day out. But right now I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things that I've found over the last month or so. And they weren't necessarily from these locations, but I know you always like to see a good thrift, vintage, home decor haul. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to show you is something that I've been really kind of on the hunt for. I've decided that I would like to collect a little bit of chinoiserie, and I had been looking for probably 6 months for some vintage ginger jars or spice jars, whatever you'd want to call them. These are the Double Happiness, and I absolutely love these jars, and I found them at a flea market actually about an hour away in Joplin. I really wanted some authentic vintage ones. I'm sure that I probably can't afford the antique ones, but these are definitely vintage. I don't know how old they are, but they were in very good condition, and they were a little bit of a splurge for me, but I did see them for double the price in a local flea market. I saw one of them actually. So I was pretty excited about that. And these, they have a partial sticker on one of them, as you saw there. And I just have them next to my stove right now in my kitchen where I can see them all the time. And I just think they're gorgeous. That's probably not the permanent location for them, but right now I'm just loving looking at them and enjoying them. And I just love these spice jars, and I would probably grab some more whenever I see them at a decent price. They do sell them new as well, which there are some beautiful ones to choose from, brand new as well. And in that same flea market, I found this pedestal bowl, and it just has this kind of mark on the bottom, almost like a 7 or a, depending on how you hold it. I don't know what exactly that mark is. Maybe one of you is familiar with it. I haven't tried to look it up or anything, but I just loved the blue and white as well. I guess I was on a blue and white tangent, and I even have more to show you in a minute, but I just loved the sort of French country European farmhouse look that this had. and I thought it'd be beautiful to hold fruit or vegetables, or a lower table flower arrangement. I got this. This was probably, I want to say it was around $6, and I just think it's gorgeous. Here it is up close. I was kind of hesitant in the store, but then when I brought it home, it just looks good anywhere I put it. The next find was actually from the thrift store, and I found these gorgeous little candle holders. They are handmade by someone, like studio pottery, but I just thought they looked so anthropology looking, just sort of that boho organic creative kind of look. I did put some tea lights in them, but I think they can hold even a little bit bigger candle. I'm going to look for some smaller pillars. I just haven't done it yet, but just so pretty, and I think they will go with so many different things. And last but not least, we ended up going to an estate sale that I had found on Facebook Marketplace, and they hadn't advertised very well. It was just family members that were running the sale, but there were quite a few vintage pieces there, which was kind of fun. And I got this entire Mount Clemens pottery set of dishes, the blue and white, the blue onion pattern, as you can see there. And this I did look up because when we lived in Michigan, my husband's from Michigan, I'm not, but when I lived there for 17 years, it wasn't that far from Mount Clemens. And I looked up the markings, and there's different markings on a lot of the different pieces. So it looks like a set that had been collected over time. And they're definitely from probably the 70s, maybe the 80s, but more likely between the 50s and the 70s. These were all collected. So this is a beautiful set. I didn't even know I needed, and I paid $24 for the entire set. So I really couldn't refuse. I actually got the small plates for $4, and I brought them home, and they looked so good with everything else that we had. I said, my gosh, we need to go get back and get the rest of them. It was such a beautiful set. And so she gave it to me for $20, which was pretty exciting. And we've been using these quite a bit already. So that's my haul for today. It doesn't mean it's everything I have to show you, that's for sure. I'm always changing things up. Thanks for coming today along with me and seeing all the fun, pretty much blue and white haul that I had today. And I will talk to you next time here at Free Range Cottage.